Yo ho ho. What up, Don Mafia? Welcome to another edition of the Don Mafia Report. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was planning on starting this video off with a little skit, something along the lines of me just looking miserable and having several cutaway scenes of me just being depressed in bed, me standing in the shower trying to drown myself like a turkey in the rain, looking outside with a coffee cup. And so it's even great too because it's even raining outside right now. So I mean, that would just be pure comedy. But I just couldn't bring myself to actually do it because frankly, I am so upset with how the Buffalo Bills played last night that I really couldn't find inspiration to sort of go through with that at the end of the day. And so I'm sure you understand what this video is going to be about. I am going to be doing my weekly grades for the offense, the defense, and special teams. And spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, there's not going to be many good grades given out today. Before I dive into it, I need to give a giant announcement. I ended up starting this Bills Mafia chat group off of this app called Flick Sports or Flick Chat. It's legitimately one of the coolest chat apps I've seen in my entire life. There's polls, there's quizzes, there's different rooms for specific topics, whether or not that you want to send me like a picture of you in your Bills garb or going through a flaming table, there's a room for that. Say that you just want to talk about general Bill shit, there's a room for that. So do me a favor, hit that link right in the description and come join the Bills Mafia chat group, baby. You will not be disappointed. And so yeah, Don Mafia, so I feel like we might as well just go on ahead and start off with our offense. There were a couple of good things that came out of this game from an offensive standpoint, and we might as well get those out of the way before we start hopping into the negatives, right? Starting off, we were still there for third down conversions. I'm pretty sure we went 13 for 17, which is always a good sign that your offense is particularly healthy. And then, of course, with the upside, you need to look that Stephon Diggs still had an incredible game. He had over 100 yards receiving. And then once finally Cole Beasley was implemented into our game plan, he had a pretty solid game too with over 50 yards. So our receivers from that game specifically were certainly not the issue. But one thing that really came out and really made me understand is we need John Brown. John Brown is such an asset to our offense and gives Josh Allen one more answer on the field. I mean, we saw that tonight, that we better cross our fingers and hope that John Brown and Stephon Diggs and Beasley can remain healthy the entire season, or we might not see those explosive offensive showouts that we've seen week 1 through week 4. We absolutely need them. Gabe Davis has a lot of promise, but he dropped a lot of balls last night. In fact, the entire team was dropping balls last night. Dawson Knox, don't get me started. He clearly didn't address his dropping issue right over the season. I mean, so inconsistent. One play, he's turning the wrong way. The next play, he's angry running, so throwing a DB on the ground for a first down, and the very next play, he's dropping a gimme pass. So there definitely needs to be some type of solution right there. Whether or not that Tyler Kroft is the answer, who really knows at the end of the day. And then it comes down to Josh Allen, right? This game last night was the first time that I saw Josh Allen truly challenged. He seemed hesitant. He seemed like he was 2019. It was tough, right? Like the Titans came to play. And frankly, Titans fans, if any of you are watching this, I owe you a sincere apology. I totally underestimated you guys. I had no idea that your defense was that stout. I had no idea that your offense with Tannehill and so was that efficient. Y'all won that game handedly, and I do give you props. And for y'all that are going in the comments being like, ho, 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 Dad, you were wrong, dude. You were wrong, dude. Well, hey, let me tell you what. Please make sure to introduce me to the sports personality that is 100% correct all the time on his sports takes, because I know exactly who I'm bringing to Vegas with me. But I mean, now that tangent's like really out of the way, I mean, Josh really didn't end up having a game. Those interceptions hurt. First one, definitely not his fault. Popped off Andre Roberts' shoulder. If that was John Brown, that wouldn't have been an issue. But the second one, I mean, I got to stop being a homer sometimes. That was clearly Josh Allen's fault. And so it looked like he was having a catch with his son in the backyard with that one. So it was definitely interesting. But say that I had to give the Bills offense a grade, I'd probably have to give it a C-, and that's being generous, and that's being very generous. The only reason I'm giving them a C- is the fact that they've been able to show that those third down conversion rates are very, very important, and their field position was never really favorable. And so they seem to be moving the ball down the field in a relatively healthy way, right? Say, for example, that we were moving the ball right on that same consistency that we were from having starting fielding positions from the 15, from the 10, from the 20. And so we switched with the Titans, who had gifts of field position the entire night. Then this score would be completely reversed. There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm going to have to give the offense a C-, and now we have to go into our defense. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, starting off, the defense has been struggling this entire year. They've been relying on our offense to bail them out, and unfortunately, the offense couldn't help them. The defense was absolutely atrocious. Now, let me go on ahead, and let me not necessarily make an excuse for them, but let me go on ahead and at least let me feel for them. Just because the Tennessee Titans, like mentioned previously, their touchdown drives on average started at their own 30, started at their own 40. And a lot of that had to do with like those botched special teams coverage packages. That punt return absolutely killed us. And then also it really just came down to our defense not being able to stop a damn thing. The Tennessee Titans had great field position the entire time. We were obviously missing Matt Milano, which is always a bad sign. Whenever you see Matt Milano not in the lineup, expect a score like that. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles game last year, same exact scenario. Trey White wasn't there, and I legitimately lost all hope for Josh Norman. He was getting absolutely burned by receivers. He ended up getting thrown to the ground like a rag doll by Derrick Henry. And so don't get me wrong, just about every man that's ever existed would have been thrown on the ground like a rag doll from Derrick Henry. That's just how it is. But this defense was just terrible, guys. It really, really was. Like, it's funny. I have no idea how you can basically take the exact same defense from 2019, which was top 3 in the damn league, and then you move them to 2020, and now we're basically in the basement. I mean, we can't stop the run to save our lives. It even seems like our pass coverage has been struggling. Maybe it had to do with the fact that they were just picking on Josh Norman. We didn't have Trey White. We don't have Levi Wallace. Our cornerback room is very slim at this point. We really have no idea. And that's why I'm so nervous going into next Monday right against the Chiefs. Because say that our offense doesn't show up like they didn't show up last night, then this game, so our defense is not going to be able to stop Pat Mahomes. And the only thing that we need to like pray and hope for is the fact that our offense shows up and Josh Allen has completely all of his weapons. They game plan accordingly, and here they are. But I mean, our defense has a lot of issues. And so I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we can't pressure the quarterback to save our damn lives. Our rush defense is trash, and it seems like our best playmakers right in the secondary are completely gone. And so if I had to give our defense a grade, I'm going to have to give it a D-. And so I'm not quite giving it an F, just because of the fact that I know that the Tennessee Titans had very favorable field position in just about every single possession that they had. That's the only reason they didn't get an F. But I mean, we sincerely need to address our defense if we realistically want to make a deep playoff run. Well, hey, Don Mafia, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of the Don Mafia Report. And before I let you go, always remember, let's go Buffalo.